All right, Dirk Knudsen, NorthwestPrepReport.com, Rivals.com. And today we're going to be talking to Coach J, Coach Eric Jackson. Not only a good friend of mine, but a guy who's breaking some ground in the area of academic qualifying. So we're going to be doing an interview with Coach J here shortly, and we're going to be looking at a tool he's developed to find out more about Coach J. As you go through and watch this, you just want to visit this website that you're seeing right here, CoachEJackson.com. So we're going to get Coach Eric Jackson in the room, and we're going to do an interview here coming up next. So Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, we know each other real well. You've had a chance to work with some of the athletes that I cover here in the Northwest this year. Tell us about Coach J and what you're up to.
Well, Coach J, academic coach, allows you to, student athletes to jumpstart their academics. It's a three-pronged attack. Obviously, as we've talked before, it's one, making sure that kids meet the NCAA academic requirements. Two, obviously, I've been a football coach, a college football coach for the last 26 years, so I know all the ins and outs of recruiting. And third, it's, since I coached in the Ivy League for 14 years at Cornell and Princeton, I can help student athletes who are wanting that kind of experience.
Right.
With the Ivies.
Wasn't a big part of your coaching beyond the positional work you did at all the great universities you coached at? A lot of what you did was help kids make sure they were going to qualify to come to that university that you were at, right?
No question about it. That's the biggest thing, and that's why I started the service, is because I saw time and time again young men and women didn't know what their core GPA was, they didn't know where their academic standing was, and they got lost in the shuffle, and it cost them an unbelievable opportunity to go on.
Do we both feel like at this point academics are being overlooked too much?
Academics are big time overlooked, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I see it time and time again because you and I talk to kids quite a bit.
Yep.
We're either chatting with kids online, we're talking to them on the phone, we see them at games, and it's the number one issue. Hey, what's your core GPA? I don't know. And that's a big component. And kids don't know it, and sometimes their coaches don't know it, and their counselors don't know it. So I've kind of made my service so now it alleviates class is English, math, social science, science, foreign languages, and classes like that. Those are, and here's the thing that kids don't know. There are your high school state requirements.
Yep.
And then there's your NCAA core requirements. They're two different things, all right? The NCAA is a different animal. That's what makes you eligible to play in college. In the year 2016, there's going to be new academic standards for your core requirements. You're going to have a 2.3 GPA. Right now you have to have a 2.0.
It's not getting easier.
It doesn't get any easier.
Oh, man.
Based on those new standards, 15% of all athletes and 35% of all football players wouldn't make the new requirements. That's in a minute. You can start, you can plug it in, just like you do. Kids are online doing Xbox and Facebook.
Yeah.
This is going to be easy for them.
So the earlier a student athlete and his parents start this freshman year, right, when that GPA really starts up,
Right.
the better off.
True.
Start tracking it early, hold yourself accountable, know where you're coming from.
Well, based on the new standards, you're going to have all your courses done, your core courses done, by going into your senior year. And I tell you, from a college coaching perspective, if I get an email or a kid can say, hey, this is my core GPA, this is my overall, I'm pretty dang impressed, because now I know once I get that young person on campus, I'm not going to have to babysit them.
Yeah.
They're a self-starter. So you have to have those, and you got to have 16 of those core, and you can't mess up on them. And that's why it's so important that kids understand, how important this part is. We talked about it. There's 39,000 approximate high schools in the eligibility database.
Wow.
All right. There are 200,000 approximate high school student athletes that enter information in. All right. That's a lot of folks. That's a lot of kids that do it.
We're talking about at the NCAA Eligibility Center.
Only the eligibility
Is that
center.
the clearinghouse?
Yes, that's also called the clearinghouse.
So when people hear clearinghouse, this is what we're talking about. So this is where you've got to go if you want to go on to play college, NCAA college sports, athletics, especially get a scholarship. You got to go there.
Right.
Okay.
So the numbers are kind of staggering. So there's 200,000 folks that do that, and there's another number you see. There's 110 number of core courses that are new and reconfigured and submitted daily. And
wow.
The number of people on the staff there, and this is in 2012, so I don't know if it's bigger this year. It's 10.
Wow.
All right.
So basically, you've developed a we'll call it the algorithm or the formula, the spreadsheet that you've got, the tool you've got, is going to help the person that's using it know what that same reading is going to look like at the NCAA when they get to it.
Yes.
So now there's 400 to 500 submissions a day being looked at out of hundreds of thousands. So it could take quite a while to get through the clearinghouse if you're slow on getting started, right?
Right. And what the coach will do is he's going to break down your core.
So he's got
Or
a
he's gonna
tool
send
similar.
it.
He's got a tool like yours, maybe something
Right.
like that.
Without question, he does.
Okay. So what you're doing is you're giving the athletes and their families an insider's look at what they look like when coaches look at them and what the NCAA looks at them.
Without
So
question.
you're leveling the playing field
Right.
or equaling it out for everybody. Okay, awesome. So are we going to jump in and take a look at the
Let's
tool
do it.
itself?
Let's
Okay.
take a look at it. Say you got 2 C's. Well, now you go back to your GPA, and that beautiful 3.5 you have now because you had a C, you got a 2.75. So you can see how quickly that happens. And what happens for high school kids now, they'll put this in, they'll say, you know what, I got to get more extra credit, I've got to do this, because potentially a C will drop my GPA down a ton.
And
Freshman year, let's say freshman year.
okay, freshman.
And let's put in a D in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now that 3.5, when we had in English, now we've got 2 C's, and now it just dropped us down to a 2.3. So what happens is now a kid can say, okay, wow, that's my GPA. I have an idea of what it is.
So the A I got in shop and weightlifting.
They don't count, right? You
You're not helping me?
English,
Oh,
social
man.
studies, math, natural science, additional English, math, and science. The other aspect of this, when you're looking at your test scores, I always encourage kids to take their test early as possible.
Okay.
So the composite is, the average of your scores, but the NCAA calls it a sum. So you have to look at, say, you've had a 15 in English and a 16 in math and a 17 in reading and a 15 in science reading. You add that up together.
50. That's a 63, coach.
63, you type that in the bottom, you tab it, and now it tells you for 63 sum, you need a 2.625 core GPA.
Okay.
So you figured that all these are filled out and completed, and that's my test score. It'll tell you based on where you are. I'm at a 2.57. I need a 2.625. I'm gonna have to do some more work.
Where's that D we had, coach? Was that
there.
math?
Yeah,
Let's say I busted my butt in the off season or in extra time or however. Because a guy like you is going to tell me, Dirk, fix that D, right?
Right.
So let's say I went and fixed it and I got a B. So now we come back to the tool.
Put in the B.
This is another thing people need to understand. They can fix these things, right, if they have time.
You can fix them if you have time.
That's part of what Coach Jay does.
That's
I've
a
heard
retake.
I've heard you tell guys, and seen where you help guys.
And sometimes you put in
and gals.
retake.
Okay.
Because the NCAA is going to take your best grade. And courses not used, you put it over here, you go algebra, that I had a D. Well, I'm not using that one.
Okay.
Yeah, the NCAA is going to take your best scores.
Nice.
They're looking to help you out that way, but you've got to identify it early enough that now it's not an issue anymore.
Awesome.
So now I
So
set to a B. Now I'm a 2.8, and shoot, if I keep on.
So
track,
if I have this, and I've got this tool, and I'm an athlete, or mom and dad, or whoever, mom, dad, coach, athlete, coach, whoever's my advocate, and I have this. Now we can go to work, and we're going to be out of the dark. We're going to know.
You're going to know. You're going to jumpstart it. You're going to.
I talk to kids all the time, and they'll tell me things are going good, and I'll say, "How you doing in school?" And they always tell me, "Pretty good."
The difference. There's kids who know, and if they know, they're going to be able to tell you, right? Kids that know their stats. Hey, I had 15 touchdowns and 375 yards rushing the other day. What's your GPA? I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we know. Hey, I know. I'm a 3.3 overall.
It's been great having a guy like you around, because until you got involved, and there's maybe one other service that I've even run into, this is the core of what you do. I mean, you know about how to stand out in the crowd and how to help kids evaluate film, and you can talk to them about what kind of football player they are and give them a reality check, maybe, right? Which I'm sure they ask you. Those are other things you do, but you based your entire Coach J business around this piece. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. So we know a lot of families that have worked with you, Coach J, this last year, and I've had glowing glowing reports. Glad to say, because you know I hold everybody pretty highly accountable. So you're passing muster, and all of them, as far as I know, are finding a home and are making academic grade. And we had a few that you and I had a chance to work with this year that probably weren't going to make it, but they pulled it together.
They pulled together. They did without question.
It's awesome.
And I think the bottom line also, Dirk, is that I'm not an agent.
Yep.
I'm not going to steer you toward a particular school. That's not
Yep.
what I do. I'm going to give you information so you can make the best decision